Hi, my name is Britt, and I did my international culture project on the Mexican culture. So first we'll start with the flag of Mexico, which is a symbol of the green in the flag represents independence, and white is the religion of the Roman Catholics, and the red is the union of the Iguala. So this is like easier to see each color of the flag, and then this is like what the flag looks like in Mexico if you were to go there, and that's just an easier way to see it. And then next is the eagle of Mexico. So it represents pride, resilience, and power. So that's the meaning and the importance of the eagle there. And then next is the Day of the Dead. So the Day of the Dead symbolizes a celebration of celebrating loved ones that have already passed on. So they just get together and celebrate, as you can see in these pictures here. So it's a very important day, and it's very famous. So next we have language, and so Spanish is the official language of Mexico, even though other languages are spoke there as well. And so Mexican Spanish is important because it has its own rhythm. So here is what like some of the letters in Spanish may look like. And so next we have this language, and it was spoken by the Aztecs, and so this is not as popular since Spanish is the official language of Mexico, but it's still spoken, and it shows identities of different communities in Mexico. So this is what that looks like in this picture here. And so then next we have there are several different Mayan languages that are spoken in Mexico, and the most famous one is the Yucatec Maya. So here's kind of what that looks like. And so this is my table for my project, and it's just different languages that are spoke. So obviously there's more languages than what I've talked about already, and so all these languages are spoken in different parts and are in different communities of Mexico. And so there's percentages over here, and that shows how much of the people like speak that or whatever. So a lot of different languages are spoke, and that shows like Mexico is very diverse in its language, so that's super cool. And then next we have values. So there's a lot of different values in Mexico. So the first one I'm going to talk about is family. So family is very important in the Mexican culture because they respect each other and they work together to show up in their community. And then next are festivals. So festivals are very valued and important in Mexico because it's a time for everybody to get together to celebrate. And so another value is the traditional Mexican clothing. So here's two different pictures of what that looks like. And so the clothing patterns and colors in the clothing represents like the person's identity and the community from which they come from. And so next is norms. So a norm of Mexican culture is greeting everyone personally and individually. So it's important to that because it shows people there that you are polite and respectful of them. And so the next one we have is showing respect to the elders. So it's a very important thing in Mexico, and because it shows that you're respectful of people that are already older than you. And so here's a picture of like maybe like a kid with their grandparent or something. And so the next one we have is attending traditional celebrations and festivals, and that shows that you want to be involved in your community. And so next we'll start with the material culture. And so pottery is used as a form of art, and it's used to express each is inner imagination and their creativity. So here's a picture of the pottery that is used, and obviously they paint it to the way they want it, and that is used just like clothing to show like their community and their individuality. And so next we have for art is textiles. So textiles were an important part of the culture, and it was used to show identity of the civilizations. So they used textiles to distinguish themselves from one another. And so now we have silverwork. So silver was a jewelry that they had, and they still have it now, and it's a symbol of elegance in the Mexican culture. And Mexican silver carries emotional depth, and for many, silver holds a story, and it's not just a piece of jewelry, it just holds emotional meaning for them. So next we have is foods. So two of the most famous foods in the Mexican culture is tacos and tamales, and so lots of foods are made with tortillas, rice, beans, and meat, and so this is like what they eat all the time, and when they have festivals and celebrations, they all eat this kind of food. And so next we have architecture, and so famous structures in the Mexican culture were built using materials like stone. So this is a famous structure in Mexico, and you can see obviously it's made using mainly stone. So next we have material items that were used for celebration events. So a main one is masks. So we see that at some festivals and celebrations they wear masks, and so these masks can be used at festivals, and they can be themed to a particular celebration, so like Day of the Dead and other celebrations that they will have there. And so then that's all of my references. Thank you.